organization, one of our primary focuses is exactly the stuff that you've been working on as far as the unfair and lending practices, the targeting of specific demographics with these predatory programs, and those are designed to get people into debt into ways and dependent on these terrible financial products that they really should never touch. The other side of that is the availability and access to debt relief for consumers. So the ability for them to work themselves out of terrible situations that organizations like we've been talking about get them into. Is there anything in the works in Rhode Island to help bring more avenues toward getting debt relief, outside of the traditional, bankruptcy and things like that? Have you been working on any of the, I guess, credit counseling or debt settlement or anything like that to bring to Rhode Island? Because I believe at the moment there, some of those things aren't available there. And as an organization that we want to make sure that consumers who are debt distressed have access to as many options as they can to get debt relief.
For sure. So Rhode Island is slow moving. And so not off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that you've mentioned that we have. We do have some programs that obviously are not for everyone. But we are slow moving, and I can anticipate that with more financial literacy that we are doing across the state with our high schools and colleges and small organizations, I can see some of that stuff being highlighted in the next couple of years. But at the moment, I can't think of anything that is like popping out saying like, yeah, we're doing this or we're doing that. But I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, that's something that we'd love to have conversations with you about, because that's another, like I said, we advocate against predatory lending, but we do a lot of advocacy for programs that offer consumers access to, debt relief and debt relief products. Because when you're, a lot of folks that are members of our platform, were in those situations before. They were, drowning in debt, and then, found programs that help them get out of debt, and now they're on our platform telling their stories. And I think those are stories that I would love for you to hear about. And given your penchant for fighting on behalf of consumers, I think that advocating for more debt relief products in the state of Rhode Island would be something that might be could be of interest to you.
Yeah.
And as far as what's kind of universally available, obviously bankruptcy comes top of mind, but as you know, that's a legal process, and it's a public record. If you file a bankruptcy, your next door neighbor could look it up and know that it's been done. But when you look at avenues such as debt settlement, where you're negotiating with your creditors to reduce your principal amount, that's a conversation between you and your creditor. No one else really has to know about it, and that's just one of those ways. Credit counseling is also a wonderful way, working with those agencies. I'm not sure if they're doing business in Rhode Island, but as an organization, we try to advocate as much as we can to give consumers as many available options to get themselves out of debt. And I think the literacy part that you touched on is extremely important too, because they have to know what they're getting into, no matter what avenue they're choosing.